Set in the vibrant city of Abuja, Nigeria, this is a story of transformation, dignity, and unexpected love. In a mansion where silence screams louder than words, a young maid named Amora finds herself caught in a world of wealth and coldness. When a billionaire catches her dancing in a moment of unguarded joy, their lives intertwine, and the walls of the mansion begin to crack, letting in light where shadows once ruled. The mansion in Maid, Abuja, was too quiet, a silence that clung to the marble floors and crystal chandeliers like a warning. Amora, a 24-year-old maid, stood by the kitchen sink, scrubbing a champagne flute worth more than her monthly wages. Her hands moved with practiced speed, but her mind wandered to a softer place, a small village in Enugu where her mother's laughter once warmed the air. Amora's eyes, though young, carried the weight of someone who had seen too much too soon. The mansion belonged to Chinedu Okoye, Nigeria's youngest tech billionaire, a man whose wealth was matched only by his detachment. Cold and elusive, he moved through the house like a ghost, his presence felt more in absence than in words. His fiancée, Nkechi Adibeo, a celebrated fashion influencer, was the opposite, sharp-tongued and radiant, her beauty a weapon she wielded freely. To Nkechi, Amora was less than nothing, a shadow to be ordered or ignored. Amora. Nkechi's voice sliced through the hallway, sharp as a blade. Amora flinched, drying her hands as she hurried to the living room. "Yes, ma'am," she said, eyes fixed on the floor. Nkechi lounged on a velvet sofa, scrolling through her phone, her gold-painted nails catching the light. "You forgot to polish my sandals again." She gestured to a pair of strappy heels by the coffee table. "I'll do it now, ma'am," Amora replied softly. "You should have done it hours ago," Nkechi snapped. "Do I have to watch you every second?" "I'm sorry, ma'am." "You're always sorry. Doesn't make you less useless." Amora bent to pick up the shoes, her heart heavy but her face a mask of calm. She had learned long ago that tears changed nothing. Behind her, the front door clicked open. Chinedu entered, his tailored suit as crisp as his demeanor. His eyes swept the room, lingering on no one, before he headed upstairs without a word. Nkechi's voice softened instantly. "Darling, you're back." Chinedu gave a curt nod and disappeared. Nkechi's gaze flicked back to Amora. "Don't embarrass me in front of him again." That night, in the cramped servants' quarters, Amora lay on her thin mattress, clutching a faded photo of her mother outside their old village shop. "God, just one more day," she whispered, her prayer a quiet plea for strength. She didn't know that tomorrow would shift the ground beneath her feet. The sun rose over Abuja, painting the mansion in hues of gold, but its warmth never reached the polished floors. Amora woke before dawn, as always, slipping into her stiff black uniform, the collar tight against her throat, Nkechi's preference. By 6:30 a.m., the kitchen smelled of roasted coffee and fresh bread, the dining table set with silverware that gleamed like a mirror. While dusting the grand staircase, Amora caught her reflection in a glass panel. Dark circles framed her eyes, her shoulders slumped under the weight of routine. She barely recognized herself. Once, she had dreamed of becoming a nurse, of healing others, but now she was a ghost in someone else's story. "Amora." Nkechi's voice echoed from upstairs. "My smoothie. Not too cold this time, or I'll pour it over you." "Yes, ma'am," Amora called, hurrying to the kitchen. Later, while cleaning a guest room, she found a small bottle of jasmine perfume in a drawer. It smelled like her mother's embrace. She held it for a moment, smiling softly, then returned it carefully. Downstairs, Nkechi's voice carried from a video call, "She's just the maid. Honestly, I don't know why Chinedu keeps her." Amora heard it, as she always did. But this time, instead of tears, a quiet resolve stirred in her chest. "One day," she whispered, "they'll see me." The mansion buzzed that morning. Nkechi was preparing for a fashion summit in Lagos, 3 days away, 2 nights in a luxury hotel. She tossed dresses and heels into suitcases, barking orders as the staff scurried around her. "Chinedu," she called, applying mascara in the master bedroom. "I left a list. Tell Amara to stop folding my clothes like rags." "Noted," Chinedu said, his voice flat, his eyes on his phone. By 10 a.m., Nkechi was gone, her car speeding off with a trail of dust. The mansion fell silent, a rare and beautiful stillness. Amora stood by the staircase, mop in hand, and exhaled. No shouting. No insult. Just peace. She turned on the radio, and juju music filled the kitchen. Her hips swayed as she swept, a smile breaking free. "Why am I still in this uniform?" she muttered. In her tiny room, she pulled out a sapphire blue dress she'd saved for months to buy. She slipped it on, added a touch of lip gloss, and twirled in front of her cracked mirror. "Today, I'm Amora," she whispered. She danced through the house, barefoot on the cool marble, singing to the rhythm. She sipped Chinedu's locked-away guava juice, laughing at her own daring. The mansion felt alive, and so did she. Unbeknownst to her, Chinedu's meeting in Gaki had been cancelled. His car was already pulling into the driveway. The afternoon sun bathed the mansion in golden light. Amara moved through the master bedroom, dusting lightly, her blue dress swaying as she sang into a wooden spoon. The music paused softly, and she spun, her laughter echoing. She was free, if only for a moment. The front door creaked open, unnoticed over the music. Chinedu stepped inside, pausing at the unfamiliar sound of joy. He climbed the stairs quietly, drawn to the laughter. At the bedroom door, he stopped, peering through the crack. There she was, Amora, spinning barefoot, glowing in a way he'd never seen. For a full minute, he didn't move, captivated by her grace, her unguarded joy. This wasn't the maid he'd passed by for months. This was a woman, alive and radiant. He chuckled softly. Amora froze, her heart leaping as she turned to see him. "Mr. Chinedu," she stammered, stepping back. I didn't know you were home." "I'm sorry, Don't stop," he said, his voice gentle, almost warm. "You were dancing so beautifully." Amora's cheeks burned. "I'll change and get back to work." "You don't have to," he said, stepping into the room. "I've never seen you like this." She gripped the nightstand, the music still playing faintly. "It won't happen again." "I didn't say that," he replied, his eyes meeting hers, not cold, not distant, but curious. For the first time, he saw her. And something in Amora shifted, a spark of something dangerous and new. The next morning, Amora stood in her black uniform, pouring Chinedu's coffee. Her hands trembled slightly as she set the tray in his study. "Your coffee, sir," she said, eyes down. "Thank you, Amora," he replied, saying her name with intention. She froze, startled. He'd never said it before. "You're welcome, sir," she managed. "You don't have to call me sir every time," he said, a faint smile on his lips. "Respect doesn't need to be so formal." She nodded, unsure, and moved to leave. "Amora," he called softly. She turned. "About yesterday, I didn't mean to startle you. You looked happy. I liked seeing that." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "It won't." "Maybe it should," he interrupted, his voice steady. The air crackled with something unspoken. Then the front door opened, a delivery, and the moment broke. Amora slipped away, her heart racing. That afternoon, Chinedu found her polishing frames in the hallway. "You look like you could use a break," he said, holding out a cup of tea. "For me?" she asked, confused. He nodded. They sat in the hallway, sipping in silence. She glanced at him, seeing not the untouchable billionaire but a man, tired and human. "You don't talk much," she said suddenly. "Neither do you," he replied, smiling. "I guess we both got used to being quiet." He looked at her. I used to love talking, but people only hear what they want. Same here, she said softly. He stood, adjusting his watch. Thanks for sharing the silence. As he walked away, he added, and you can wear that dress again. You looked happy. Amora's heart thudded. What's happening to me? She whispered. 3 days later, Nkechi stormed back into the mansion, her voice shattering the peace. Amora. Where's my Chanel bag? She bellowed, sunglasses still on. Amora appeared, wiping her hands. Welcome back, Mom. Don't welcome me, Nkechi snapped, inspecting the living room. What's this smell? Did you spray something? Jasmine oil, Mom, for the shelves. I didn't ask for that, Nkechi hissed. Upstairs, she froze, spotting Amora's blue dress folded in the laundry area. You wore this, she accused, holding it like evidence. Around my fiancé. It was my off day, Amora said, her voice trembling. I didn't damage anything. Nkechi's smile was venomous. You think you're something now, don't you? The front door opened. Chinedu stepped in, hearing the commotion. He climbed the stairs, his face unreadable. What's going on? Nkechi laughed lightly. Just correcting your little helper. She's getting too comfortable. Chinedu's eyes flicked to Amora, who stood trembling. Are you all right? He asked. Yes, sir, she whispered, her voice breaking. He turned to Nkechi, his gaze cold. A word, he said, gesturing to the study. In the study, Nkechi fumed. She's just a maid, Chinedu. Why are you defending her? You humiliated her, he said calmly. She humiliated herself, dancing in that dress like she belongs here. She works here, Chinedu said. She belongs more than your bags. Nkechi's eyes narrowed. Since when do you care about mates? Since I realized people like you have nothing inside, he replied, his voice like steel. Nkechi stormed out, heading for Amora. You think you've won? She spat, raising her hand. Time slowed, but before it landed, Chinedu caught her wrist. Don't you ever try that again, he said, his voice low and dangerous. Not in my house. Nkechi's lips trembled. You're choosing her over me. I'm choosing what's right. He turned to Amora. You okay? She nodded, stunned. Go rest, he said gently. You've done enough. As Amora walked away, Nkechi stormed upstairs, slamming drawers. Chinedu followed, watching as she packed. You're leaving? He asked. You humiliated me, she hissed. In front of a maid. This isn't about her, he said. It's about how cruel you've become. Nkechi grabbed her bags and left without a word. The door slammed, and the mansion fell silent. That evening, rain tapped the mansion's roof. Amora sat outside, her blue dress in her lap, her heart heavy. Chinedu found her, sitting beside her on a bench. How long have you worked here? He asked. 8 months, she said. Before that, I cleaned at a hotel. Before that, I was supposed to study nursing. But my mother died, and I had to work. He nodded. I lost my parents at 15. Built this from nothing. Money doesn't erase the past. She looked at him, surprised. You don't act like someone who's been hurt. That's the trick, he said. You act like stone so people stop asking. I act like air, she said softly, so people forget I'm there. You're not invisible, he said, his voice gentle. Their eyes met, and for a moment, their past didn't weigh as much. The next morning, Amora moved through her tasks with new ease, her shoulders straighter. Chinedu brought her a plate of yam. I saved you some, he said, smiling. And I made tea. She laughed. The great Chinedu Okoye, boiling water. Don't tell anyone, he teased. They ate together, talking about music, Abuja's chaos, and small joys. Later, Amara wore her blue dress again, not to dance but to feel like herself. Chinedu paused when he saw her. "You look like you belong here." "Maybe I do," she said, meeting his gaze. That night, they dined together, not as boss and maid but as equals. The table held egusi soup and pounded yam, simple and warm. They laughed, shared stories, and let the candle burn low. Amara felt seen, not as a shadow but as herself. Later, on the balcony, a high-life tune played softly. "You never finished that dance," Chinedu said. "You want me to dance again?" she asked. "I want to dance with you," he replied, holding out his hand. They moved together, awkward at first, then finding rhythm. She rested her head on his chest, and he closed his eyes. The world faded, leaving only them. Days passed in quiet connection. They shared tea, chopped vegetables, talked under the stars. Amara spoke of her dream to open a clinic. Chinedu shared his fear of being alone forever. One night, he touched her fingers gently. "I see you," he said. "I see you too," she replied, smiling. Saturday morning dawned bright. Amara stood in a cream dress, her uniform gone. She descended the stairs, and Chinedu looked up, breathless. "You look like royalty," he said. She laughed. "Royalty doesn't scrub floors." "Maybe this one does," he said, pulling out a velvet box. Inside was a silver bracelet. "It's a promise," he said. "That you're not invisible, that you belong here, however you choose." Tears pricked her eyes. "I never thought someone like me." "You're you," he said. "That's enough." From the shadows, Nkechi watched, her face unreadable. She'd returned, hoping to reclaim her place, but the mansion had changed. She turned away, whispering, "He used to look at me like that." Amara and Chinedu stood together, the sun warming their faces. She wasn't just passing through anymore. She was home. Thank you for watching this story. If it resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more heartfelt tales. Never forget that those who go unnoticed often hold the power to transform everything.